In this video, we're going to discuss unit of measure groups, which can be used in inventory, purchasing, or the order entry module, and basically how you can use these to your advantage when placing orders, storing in inventory, and also reselling these and have these unit of measures default accordingly. What you can do in the system here is you'll see the unit of measure set up all throughout intact, but I'm just going to go into inventory control here under setup unit of measures. And these are actually what's called unit of measure groups. Most people just use them to set up their descriptions for the unit of measures, each, hour, square footage, etc. You can use them for more. For example, I have an item that I order nails, and I order them by the box, but I want to store them by each, and maybe I want to resell them in a different quantity. So what you can do is you can establish these unit of measure groups. In this example, I created one here called box/200. And you can come into here and you can create these with a description. And you want to kind of describe what this conversion is a little bit, because you might be ordering various things that are coming in a box, but you might have 200 in one, you might have 150 in one, you might have 5 in one. So you're going to need to make these unit of measure groups accordingly. It can be item specific, or it can be a global setup that maybe you're going to use on 20 of your items. So in this case, I'm going to have a box one. My base unit is going to be each, but I also want to track the box. I might want to order by the box. And so I can say for the box, how many of the base units are in that box? And in this case, I'm saying 200. Then maybe I store by the bucket or the container, crate, whatever it might be. I might want to set up a unit of measure conversion for the bucket. And so in this case, it's a bucket, and inside a bucket, it can hold 600 quantity of nails. So you can make these conversions ahead of time. Then you could take it a step further and say, all right, well, when I purchase these items, how do I want to purchase them? I want to purchase them by the box. Typically, when I'm ordering from the vendors, they're going to grab boxes off the shelf. So I want to order it by the box. But when I stock it in inventory, I want to see how many individually I have left. I might have a half a box. I might dump them all into one bin. I just want to grab them by the each. So you can see here for inventory, I'm storing them by the each. And then maybe I do some resell on these items. So when I sell them to customers, I'm going to distribute them in a different container, and it's going to be a bucket. So I'm going to sell them by the bucket. So you can default your units here in your configuration so that when we're going through the workflow, you'll see these pre-fill accordingly. So now that we have that set up, let's just go take a look at the item real quick, because you are going to want to link your unit of measure group on the item. So if I go into my item list, and I'm just going to pull up an item I created called nails. So I have some 2-inch nails here set up. I'm going to click edit. And inside here, you'll see this is where I'm saying for this item, use this unit of measure, box/200 each. Okay, so that's all set up in the system, in order to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save there. And let's go through and do some workflow and show you how this works in action. So going through the normal workflow, the first thing I'm going to do is I need to order some for stock. So I'm going to go into the purchasing module. You could favorite your different purchasing definitions. I'm going to go use the purchase order for stock one I have here, and I'm going to hit the plus button. So I'm going to order from Buffalo Building. You can fill out all your information accordingly. But down here, I'm going to go ahead and grab the nails. So I'm going to say I'm going to order the 2-inch nails. And if you notice here over to the right, the default unit of measure is popping up as box, because that's what I said my default order was going to be for purchasing. Now, you can override that. So let's say for some reason, for this vendor, they want it listed by each. I could come into here and say 400. And I could say, do it by each. So the system will retain the 3 different units that you did set up initially, which is kind of neat. So I'm going to leave it on box right now, and let's just keep it simple. And let's say, let's order 2 boxes. Okay. Now, if I had prices filled out for my vendors, I could put in default prices. I can have it pre-fill in here. Let's just say it's going to be, $25 a box. Let's go ahead and fill that out. Let's click post. So now we ordered 2 boxes, but if I go take a look at the item again, and we'll just go take a look at the item. Actually, we'll leave this open for next time. And I go take a look at the item. I can view or edit it. You can see that I have 200 on hand, but I now have 400 on order. So it always shows you that default base quantity of each. So I have 400 on order. Okay. And so now if I go through the normal flow in my transaction defs, the next thing I'm going to do is for those purchase orders for stock, now when it comes in, I'm going to actually go ahead and convert that and receive that into the system. So when I receive that, let's say we got 2 boxes and I click post, just like you saw on order, now you'll have your item be 240 on hand. Okay. So you have that from there. Now, let's say I do want to resell some. Someone called up and said they want some nails. They want 3 buckets, let's say. You can have an invoice order entry definition set up. I'm just using the quick bill one for now. I can come into here and hit the plus button. And the Wegmans group is going to order some nails. So I can come down to here and you can code it to a project, all the normal construction related stuff you do. But in this case, I'm just going to sell them some direct material. So I'm going to sell them some nails. And my GC warehouse defaulted and said, hey, you don't have any available. Well, that's because I ordered them for Nebraska. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my warehouse. And now it'll show you over here on the right, I have 2,400 each as far as nails go. So again, notice it defaults to the bucket because that's what I'm normally selling these as per bucket. I can also sell them by box and by each. So you always have the override here. Well, let's just say they ordered 3 buckets. And I have some price lists set up here. And we're charging the customer some tax. So we have a full order here that I'm going to go ahead and let post in. And so now if I go back to my item, go take a look at nails, now you'll see that my quantity on hand has been reduced by 600. And that is because we said 3 buckets. And that's 3 times 6, that's 1,800 units. So it reduced it down by 1,800 units in the system. Okay. So this is a simple example of how you can do this, but obviously there's a lot of use cases for some more sophisticated items and how you need to convert these. It might be a coil of steel. It might be a roll of carpet. I mean, there's different use cases for this type of unit of measure conversions that you can use right out of the box inside Sage Intacct for inventory. Hopefully this was helpful. Talk to you soon. Thanks.